Now we will begin the test of English as a foreign language. Break the seal and open your test book to the first page. Read the directions for Section 1 in your test book as you listen to the directions on this recording. Do not read ahead or turn the pages until you are told to do so. Section 1. Listening Comprehension. In this section of the test, you will have an opportunity to demonstrate your ability to understand conversations and talks in English. There are 3 parts to this section, with special directions for each part. Answer all the questions on the basis of what is stated or implied by the speakers in this test. Do not take notes or write in your test book at any time. Do not turn the pages until you are told to do so. Part A. Directions. In Part A, you will hear short conversations between 2 people. After each conversation, you will hear a question about the conversation. The conversations and questions will not be repeated. After you hear a question, read the 4 possible answers in your test book and choose the best answer. Then, on your answer sheet, find the number of the question and fill in the space that corresponds to the letter of the answer you have chosen. Here is an example. On the recording, you hear,
"I don't like this painting very much."
Neither do I.
What does the man mean? In your test book, you read, A. He doesn't like the painting either. B. He doesn't know how to paint. C. He doesn't have any paintings. D. He doesn't know what to do. You learn from the conversation that neither the man nor the woman likes the painting. The best answer to the question, "What does the man mean?" is A. He doesn't like the painting either. Therefore, the correct choice is A. Go on to the next page. Now we will begin Part A with the first conversation. Number 1.
Sorry, but I can't go and have a cup of coffee with you now. I've only done half the readings for the philosophy class tomorrow.
And I thought I was a slow reader.
What does the woman mean? Number 2.
I entered one of my new photographs in the newspaper's contest.
If it's anything like the others you've shown me, I'm sure you'll come out on top.
What does the man mean? Number 3.
You took the European literature class last year. Are you interested in selling me any of the books?
I always hold on to them for future reference.
What will the man probably do? Number 4.
I haven't heard from Janet since she entered medical school. I wonder how she's doing.
Well, I understand she gave our department secretary her new address and phone number. Why don't you try to get in touch with her?
What does the woman suggest the man do? Number 5.
Hi, I have a map of the campus, but I still can't find the building with the new sculpture exhibit in it. Can you tell me how to get there?
That looks like an old map. Follow me. I'm going that way myself.
What does the woman mean? Number 6.
I just got my traveler's checks for the trip to California. I hope $300 will be enough.
I guess I'd better do that before Friday, huh? Maybe I can get to the bank tomorrow after physics class.
What can be inferred about the woman? Number 7.
Sally and Mark haven't been talking to each other lately. I wonder what happened.
I haven't the faintest idea, but I'd stay out of it if I were you.
What does the man mean? Number 8.
Did you hear that my parents are planning a trip to Vancouver?
What, Philip?
What does the woman want to know? Number 9.
I keep putting off getting my passport application.
Thank goodness I didn't drag my feet on that one.
What does the woman mean? Number 10.
How about a couple of sets of tennis this weekend?
I don't know. My game's a little rusty.
What does the man imply? Number 11.
So, what did you think about the discussion at lunch? I didn't realize people have such strong feelings about politics.
Are you kidding? That subject always touches a nerve.
What does the man mean? Number 12.
I don't want to buy the book Professor Brown told us to read for the exam. Do you think you could lend me yours?
Well, I'm not using it right now, but I really need to keep it handy just in case.
What does the woman mean? Number 13.
Look at that sky. I can't believe I forgot my umbrella again.
We're almost there, Mary. I think we'll be able to make it.
What can be inferred about the weather? Number 14.
I don't know why the university requires freshmen to live in the dorms for a whole year.
Cheer up. You'll be able to live off campus next year if you want.
What can be inferred about the woman? Number 15.
So, you and Julie are no longer roommates. I'm not surprised. You two never did seem very compatible.
Yeah, well, it's not that we didn't get along. We just didn't have much in common.
What can be inferred about the woman? Number 16.
The glare was so intense, even my sunglasses didn't help.
Look, if you take Route 27 in the late afternoon, you're driving straight into the sun. I'd consider an alternative.
What does the woman suggest the man do? Number 17.
Remember when I said I might have to back out of the concert if I didn't have my history paper done yet? Well, guess what?
That's okay. Do you know anyone else who enjoys jazz?
What will the woman probably do? Number 18.
Personally, I've never cared for the food at Sullivan's.
I think it all depends on the chef's mood that day.
What does the man imply? Number 19.
You look worn out. Are you feeling under the weather?
Not at all, but I have been putting in some long hours in the chemistry lab.
What does the woman mean? Number 20.
I think this coat is a great color, and the price is certainly right.
How about the weight, though? Remember, we're supposed to have a really severe winter this year.
What does the man imply about the coat? Go on to the next page. Number 21.
Michelle, this is Jeff, our new reporter. Would you have some time today to show him around? You know, introduce him to the others, make him feel at home.
I'd be happy to. Then after lunch I can set him up at his desk so he can get to work.
What will Jeff probably do after lunch? Number 22.
Do the directions say we should go left or right at this stop sign?
That's funny. I don't actually see anything here about it.
What does the man imply? Number 23.
Someone told me the new restaurant on Grant Street is pretty good.
The atmosphere is wonderful. But what's more important to you? Good food or a nice atmosphere?
What does the man imply? Number 24.
So, what time does your art history class meet again?
2 to 5 Tuesdays and Thursdays, but the course is already full.
What can be inferred about the woman? Number 25.
I heard you just had your wisdom teeth removed. How do you feel?
Actually, there's not much swelling, and I got something for the pain.
What does the man mean? Number 26.
I read that enrollment in the School of Business is on the rise.
Well, that's been the trend for several years now.
What does the woman imply? Number 27.
It's 9:15. Did you just get to the lab?
Yes, I was up late studying and I overslept again. I guess I need a louder alarm clock.
What can be inferred about the man? Number 28.
My parents think I ought to buy a computer, you know, now that I'm in college. But I hate to spend so much of my savings now.
I'd say it's probably a worthwhile investment.
What does the man mean? Number 29.
Do we need to get the concert tickets in advance?
There may be some for sale at the door at a higher price.
What does the woman say about the tickets? Number 30.
Are you free tonight? I'm meeting a few friends at the restaurant on Main Street.
Oh, I'd love to, but I already have dinner plans for tonight. Another time, perhaps?
What does the woman mean? This is the end of Part A. Go on to the next page. Now read along as the directions for Part B are being read. The test continues on side 2. Part B. Directions. In this part of the test, you will hear longer conversations. After each conversation, you will hear several questions. The conversations and questions will not be repeated. After you hear a question, read the 4 possible answers in your test book and choose the best answer. Then, on your answer sheet, find the number of the question and fill in the space that corresponds to the letter of the answer you have chosen. Remember, you are not allowed to take notes or write in your test book. Go on to the next page. Now we will begin Part B with the first conversation. Questions 31 through 34. Listen to part of a conversation between 2 students.
Hey, Steve, got any plans for tonight?
Hi, Jane. No, I don't think so. Why, got any suggestions?
In fact, I do. I just got 2 tickets to the opening of an exhibit of reprints by Julia Margaret Cameron. I would have mentioned it earlier, but I was on a waiting list for these tickets, and I wasn't sure I'd even get them.
An exhibit, huh? I like such things. But I don't know who Julia...
Margaret Cameron. She was a photographer in the 1800s. She's interesting to art historians in general and students of photography in particular because she, how should I say, changed the aesthetics of photography.
What do you mean?
Well, her specialty was portraits, and instead of just making a factual record of details like most photographers did, just capturing what a person looked like in a dispassionate sort of way, she, like a portrait painter, was interested in capturing her subject's personality.
Interesting. How did she do that?
She invented a number of techniques that affected the picture. Like one of the things she did was blur images slightly by using a soft focus on the subject. That's pretty common now.
Yeah, I've seen that. Who did she photograph?
Famous people of her day. Alfred Lord Tennyson, Henry Wadsworth Longfellow, Charles Darwin. I don't know who else. We'll see at the exhibition.
You've really piqued my curiosity. I'm going to enjoy this. Number 31. What is the conversation mainly about? Number 32. What did Julia Margaret Cameron emphasize in her portraits? Number 33. According to the conversation, what unique photographic technique did Julia Margaret Cameron use? Number 34. What will be the subject of the pictures at the exhibit? Questions 35 through 38. Listen to a conversation between 2 students.
Do you want to go to the movies with us on Saturday?
Thanks, but I have to start my research project. I'm taking that same anthropology course you took with Professor Grady.
The one on ethnographic interviewing? Oh, good. I'm sure you'll get a lot out of it.
I have to admit, the word ethnography scared me a little at first. It seemed so technical. But then when she explained that it's what anthropologists do, how they investigate and record aspects of a culture, it didn't seem so intimidating.
Yeah, it's all part of the field work that anthropologists conduct, and it's good to start doing that now before you become a graduate student and have to conduct large projects yourself. Who are you going to interview?
You know the publishing office where I used to work? Vivian, the woman I worked for, she's been the manager there for over 30 years and has seen a lot of changes in the industry. I thought I'd start out by interviewing her about how the people in the office interact with each other and with outside clients.
Isn't it funny how we used to think that anthropologists only studied foreign cultures and had to travel halfway across the world to do it? The best part of that course is that it shows you that ethnographic research can also be done on familiar ground.
Yeah, I got the idea for my project from reading Robert Marshall's study of office life, and I realized I already had some background in that. So far, I'm really enjoying this course.
Number 35. What is the conversation mainly about? Number 36. What does the woman say about the subject of ethnography? Number 37. Why does the man think that the course will be a good one for the woman? Number 38. Who is the first person the woman will interview? This is the end of Part B. Go on to the next page. Now read along as the directions for Part C are being read. Part C. Directions. In this part of the test, you will hear several short talks. After each talk, you will hear some questions. The talks and the questions will not be repeated. After you hear a question, read the 4 possible answers in your test book and choose the best answer. Then, on your answer sheet, find the number of the question and fill in the space that corresponds to the letter of the answer you have chosen. Here is an example. On the recording you hear, "Listen to an instructor talk to his class about a television program."
I'd like to tell you about an interesting TV program that'll be shown this coming Thursday. It'll be on from 9 to 10 p.m. on Channel 4. It's part of a series called Mysteries of Human Biology. And the subject of the program is the human brain, how it functions and how it can malfunction. Topics that will be covered are dreams, memory, and depression. These topics are illustrated with outstanding computer animation that makes the explanations easy to follow. Make an effort to see this show. Since we've been studying the nervous system in class, I know you'll find it very helpful.
Now listen to a sample question. What is the main purpose of the program? In your test book, you read, A, to demonstrate the latest use of computer graphics. B, to discuss the possibility of an economic depression. C, to explain the workings of the brain. D, to dramatize a famous mystery story. The best answer to the question, what is the main purpose of the program, is C, to explain the workings of the brain. Therefore, the correct choice is C. Now listen to another sample question. Why does the speaker recommend watching the program? In your test book, you read, A, it is required of all science majors. B, it will never be shown again. C, it can help viewers improve their memory skills. D, it will help with coursework. The best answer to the question, why does the speaker recommend watching the program, is D, it will help with coursework. Therefore, the correct choice is D. Remember, you are not allowed to take notes or write in your test book. Go on to the next page. Now we will begin Part C with the first talk. Questions 39 through 43. Listen to a talk about amber in a biology class.
I'm going to pass this piece of amber around so you can see the spider trapped inside it. It's a good example of an amber inclusion. one of the inclusions that scientists are interested in these days. This particular piece is estimated to be about 20 million years old. Please be extremely careful not to drop it. Amber shatters as easily as glass. One thing I really like about amber is its beautiful golden color. Now, how did the spider get in there? Amber is really fossilized tree resin. Lots of chunks of amber contain insects like this one, or animal parts like feathers, or even plants. Here's how it happens. The resin oozes out of a tree, and the spider or leaf gets encased in it. Over millions and millions of years, the resin hardens and fossilizes into the semi-precious stone you see here. Amber can be found in many different places around the world, but the oldest deposits are right here in the United States, in Appalachia. It's found in several other countries too, though right now scientists are most interested in amber coming from the Dominican Republic, because it has a great many inclusions, something like 1 insect inclusion for every 100 pieces. One possible explanation for this is that the climate is tropical, and a greater variety and number of insects thrive in the tropics than in other places. What's really interesting is that scientists are now able to recover DNA from these fossils and study the genetic material for important clues to evolution.
Number 39. Why does the professor pass the amber around to the students? Number 40. When the professor mentions glass in the talk, what point is he trying to make about amber? Number 41. What is amber derived from? Number 42. Why is the Dominican Republic an important source of amber? Number 43. What type of amber is probably the most valuable for genetic research? Questions 44 through 46. Listen to part of a lecture in an American history class.
Now, we've been talking about the Revolutionary period in United States history, when the colonies wanted to separate from England. I'd like to mention one point about a very famous episode from that period, a point I think is pretty relevant even today. I'm sure you remember from when you were children the story of Paul Revere's famous horseback ride through the Massachusetts countryside. In that version, he single-handedly alerted the people that the British were coming. We have this image of a solitary rider galloping along in the dark from one farmhouse to another. And of course, the story emphasized the courage of one man and made him a hero in our history books, right? But that rather romantic version of the story is not what actually happened that night. In fact, that version misses the most important point entirely. Paul Revere was only one of many riders helping deliver the message that night, just one part of a prearranged plan that was thought out well in advance in preparation for just such an emergency. I don't mean to diminish Revere's role, though. He was actually an important organizer and promoter of this group effort for freedom. These midnight riders didn't just go knocking on farmhouse doors. They also awakened the institutions of New England. They went from town to town and engaged the town leaders, the military commanders, volunteer groups, even church leaders, people who would then continue to spread the word. My point is that Paul Revere and his political party understood, probably more clearly than later generations ever have, that political institutions are there as a kind of medium for the will of the people, and also to both build on and support individual action. They knew that success required careful planning and organization. The way they went about their work that night made a big difference in the history of this country.
Number 44. What does the story of Paul Revere usually emphasize? Number 45. What new information does the speaker provide about Paul Revere? Number 46. What does the speaker imply is most significant about the ride of Paul Revere? Questions 47 through 50. Listen to part of a talk in a history of science class.
Let me warn you against a mistake that historians of science often make. They sometimes assume that people in the past used the same concepts we do. There's a wonderful example that made news in the history of mathematics a while ago. It concerns an ancient Mesopotamian tablet that had some calculations on it using square numbers. The calculations look an awful lot like calculations of the length of the sides of a triangle. So that's what many historians assume they were. But using square numbers to do this is a very sophisticated technique. If the Mesopotamians knew how to do it, and historians started thinking that they did, well, then their math was incredibly advanced. Well, it turns out that the idea that Mesopotamians used square numbers to calculate the length of triangle sides is probably wrong. Why? Because we discovered that Mesopotamians didn't know how to measure angles, which is a crucial element in the whole process of triangle calculations. Apparently, the Mesopotamians had a number of other uses for square numbers. These other uses were important, but they were not used with triangles. And so these tablets, in all likelihood, were practice sheets, if you like, for doing simpler math exercises with square numbers. In all likelihood, it was the ancient Greeks who first calculated the length of triangle sides using square numbers. And this was hundreds of years after the Mesopotamians.
Number 47. What is the main purpose of the talk? Number 48. According to the professor, what did some historians mistakenly assume about the Mesopotamians? Number 49. What was on the Mesopotamian tablet mentioned in the talk? Number 50. What does the professor imply about the ancient Greeks? This is the end of Section 1, Listening Comprehension. Stop work on Section 1. This is a reminder. At the end of the test, the supervisor will collect all of the test books. You may not leave until all of the test books have been collected.